Hey everyone! It's been revealed that GM is issuing multiple widespread recalls that span tens, even hundreds of thousands of vehicles built under the Chevrolet, Cadillac, and GMC brands. For example, some 2021-2024 full-size trucks and SUVs, including the Silverado, Tahoe, Suburban, Yukon, and Escalade, are included in a recall because their V8 gasoline engines may have connecting rod or crankshaft manufacturing defects that can lead to engine damage or complete failure. That's not just inconvenient. Engine failure while driving can drastically raise the risk of a crash. According to the recall documents, the defects include the possibility of bearing failure or rod intrusion into the engine block, which could cause sudden loss of power. What's striking is that there may be no warning signs in many cases. The regulators noted that before failure, drivers may not receive advance indication of trouble. No weird noises, no lights, which means you may not realize you're vulnerable until it happens. Now, if you own one of those vehicles, you're probably asking, is mine affected? The recall covers specific model years and vehicle lines. For example, 2021 to 2024 model years of the Escalade, Silverado 1500, Suburban, Tahoe, Yukon, and Yukon XL. But it doesn't stop there. Another major recall, nearly 450,000 pickups and SUVs in the US were recalled because of a software issue in the electronic brake control module. The problem? The vehicle may fail to warn the driver if brake fluid is low. Basically, your brake warning light may not illuminate when it's supposed to. Imagine driving and you lose brake fluid. You don't get the alert. That's a serious safety gap. Luckily, there haven't been confirmed accidents yet tied to this issue, according to GM. And there's more. A recall of over 60,000 medium-duty trucks, 2019-2024 Chevy Silverado, 4500 HD, 5500 HD, 6500 HD, because a brake pressure sensor assembly may leak brake fluid into a pressure switch, causing a potential short circuit that could lead to a fire, even while parked. Yes, even when you're not driving. A parked vehicle potentially catching fire due to an internal electrical fault. That's alarming. Though the expected defect rate is small, marked 1% of those vehicles, it's still a risk you shouldn't ignore. And for those of you thinking this is just about internal combustion engines, here's the thing. Even EVs from Chevrolet are under a recall. The 2024 Chevrolet Equinox EV is being recalled for a pedestrian warning sound defect. The system may not produce sufficient volume when accelerating from a stop, which means pedestrians may not realize the vehicle is coming. So, what does this mean for you, the owner? First, check if your vehicle is part of a recall now. Don't assume, oh, that doesn't affect me. Many of these cover large model year ranges and multiple brands under GM's umbrella. Use your VIN on the official regulator's recall website. Second, even if your car is not yet listed as unaffected, stay alert for symptoms. In the engine recall case, look out for unusual engine noises, knocking, banging, check engine, light turning on, reduced propulsion, all red flags. Third, parking strategy. For those medium-duty trucks with fire risk, GM actually advised owners to park outside and away from buildings until a remedy is available. Fourth, understand the repair process. For the brake warning issue, GM is issuing an over-the-air software update for many vehicles or dealer software update. Now, let's talk about why this might be happening. The automotive industry is under tremendous pressure. Massive supply chain disruptions, the rush to EVs, cost-cutting, simultaneous production of ICE and EV platforms. Mistakes can creep in. In the engine failure case, the defect was traced to manufacturing of the connecting rod crankshaft components in certain engine builds. In the brake fluid pressure sensor case, the root cause was the supplier using an unauthorized chemical that degraded a rubber part over time. So while GM is a global giant, scale also means massive exposure. And if one component fails, the impact spans hundreds of thousands of vehicles. For Chevy and GM owners, this means a shift in mindset. It's no longer enough to rely on brand loyalty or they'll handle it. You need to be proactive. Know your vehicle's history, track recalls. Follow up if a remedy is delayed. Let's drill down on some specific takeaways. Check recall status immediately. Use your VIN at NHTSA or GM's website. Keep maintenance records and proof of remedy. If your car has been updated, document it. If you experience symptoms, knocking engine, weird noises, brake light not coming on, etc., stop driving and get inspected. For parked vehicles with fire risk recall, take extra precautions, parking outside away from structures. Be cautious when buying used. If you're purchasing a used GM or Chevy vehicle, check whether the recall remedy has been applied. And a warning, even if your vehicle isn't yet in a recall, that doesn't mean safe forever. Regulations may expand, investigations can reveal wider scopes. For example, regulators opened a preliminary probe into 877 510 GM vehicles, model years 2019-2024, over engine failure risks. So if you're planning to keep your car for the long term, or if you rely on your vehicle for work, the stakes are real. It's not just inconvenience. It's about safety, liability, cost, and peace of mind. For those wondering about resale value, yeah, these mass recalls hurt brand perception. If you try to sell a car that has outstanding recalls, or you don't have proof of repair, buyers will be skeptical, and insurer or maintenance costs could go up. Now, for a moment, let's focus on the broader message. Automakers including GM are moving rapidly toward EVs, autonomous tech, shared mobility. But in the rush, basic mechanical and software reliability still matters. A car that won't warn you about brake fluid? A V8 that can seize without warning? These aren't edge case problems. They're fundamental. And they erode trust. If you're watching this and you own a Chevy and GM vehicle, take this as a wake-up call. Don't assume all is fine. Take action. If you don't act, you're exposing yourself to risks you may not fully appreciate. And on a final note, for now, keep an eye out for updates. GM has multiple active campaigns. Some fixes are already being applied, some remedies are still under development. Your best move: stay informed. If you are planning major road trips, hauling loads, relying on your vehicle for business, make sure your vehicle is recall-free or repaired. We'll dive deeper next time into how to check for recalls globally, how to handle warranty issues if you're outside the US, and what this means for GM's future lineup. But for now, act. The bad news just got delivered. How you respond is up to you, because here's where things start to get even more concerning. What's happening behind the scenes at GM points to a much larger issue that could affect millions of drivers, not just those caught in these recent recalls. Industry insiders are now revealing that GM's aggressive cost-cutting strategies and production streamlining efforts, especially during the 2023-2025 transition to electric and hybrid platforms, may have compromised their long-standing quality control processes. And that's not speculation. It's something employees and suppliers have been quietly talking about for months. According to leaked reports and supplier statements, GM's push to reduce production time has led to significant stress within their North American plants. Assembly line workers have reported being under pressure to increase output while dealing with limited part availability, incomplete quality checks, and overtime shifts stretching over 70 hours per week. This combination creates the perfect storm for hidden defects, the kind that don't appear in testing, but surface later in real-world driving. And when those defects involve engines, brakes, or electrical systems, the results can be catastrophic. It's also worth noting that GM's transition toward a software-defined vehicle model, which relies heavily on over-the-air updates, has introduced a new kind of risk. Unlike traditional recalls where a faulty part is replaced, many of these new recalls are resolved by software patches. While this seems convenient, it also means problems can be temporarily masked instead of permanently fixed. Experts from the automotive cybersecurity sector are warning that software fixes, if rushed, could lead to more vulnerabilities down the line. Some owners have already reported that after receiving a digital patch, new issues began appearing in unrelated systems, from dashboard glitches to sudden electronic power steering failures. For example, multiple Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra owners have reported that after the brake warning software update, their infotainment screens began rebooting randomly. In some cases, the truck's automatic braking system disengaged momentarily. GM hasn't publicly acknowledged a link, But forums are lighting up with similar experiences. And that's not something to brush off. When your digital system controls critical safety functions, even a small bug can trigger a major hazard. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: GM's financial situation. The company has been pouring billions into EV research, battery production, and autonomous driving divisions like Cruise. But in doing so, GM's ICE, internal combustion engine, line, which still makes up the bulk of their sales, has suffered from what some analysts call development neglect. Instead of refreshing their older engine platforms with new materials or updated tolerances, GM has been patching them up to keep production rolling. And as history shows, that's when mechanical reliability begins to slide. The current wave of recalls is eerily similar to what happened during GM's ignition switch scandal a decade ago, a case that cost the company billions and led to a major public trust crisis. Once again, we're seeing delayed responses, vague recall notices, and customers complaining that dealerships aren't equipped to perform repairs fast enough. On some forums, Silverado and Tahoe owners say their dealers told them replacement engines or parts could take months to arrive, leaving many to drive vehicles they know might fail without warning. And speaking of dealerships, here's another layer of frustration for GM owners. Many GM service centers are currently overwhelmed, not just from these recalls but from an ongoing technician shortage nationwide. As a result, some owners are being asked to pay for diagnostic inspections, even though the issue is part of an official recall. In some states, that's a violation of consumer protection laws, yet it's happening repeatedly because dealers say they're not being reimbursed fast enough by GM corporate for recall work. That's not the only customer headache. GM's parts supply chain has been under strain since mid-2024, especially for replacement engines and electronic control units. Some customers have reported waiting up to 8 to 10 weeks just for a replacement ECU. This means you could be stranded with a non-drivable vehicle while still making payments on your loan or lease. Imagine paying $700 a month for a truck sitting dead in your driveway because of a part you can't get. Meanwhile, GM's corporate messaging continues to emphasize innovation, electrification, and a commitment to excellence. But when thousands of their vehicles are facing engine failures, fires, and electronic malfunctions, that messaging rings hollow. Even GM's EV line hasn't escaped trouble. Several Chevy Bolt EV owners recently complained about reduced charging performance after receiving the latest over-the-air battery update, which GM claims was for thermal optimization. Yet, after the update, many saw their maximum range drop by nearly 20%. That's not optimization. That's damage control disguised as software improvement. And here's another reality. GM's competitors are watching this unfold closely. Ford, Toyota, and Stellantis are already using GM's recall wave to their advantage, ramping up marketing campaigns that emphasize reliability and safety testing. Toyota has even run digital ads directly targeting Silverado owners, promoting the Tundra's tested durability and uncompromised engine reliability. That's how quickly public perception can shift. When one brand stumbles, the others move in to take market share. But for loyal Chevy and GMC owners, it's not just about image, it's about trust. Many of these customers have stuck with the brand for decades, some buying multiple generations of Silverado trucks or suburban SUVs. And now they're asking, how did we get here? How did a company with over a century of engineering experience end up in a position where core components are failing at this scale? Some experts believe it's the inevitable consequence of GM's split focus, trying to maintain legacy combustion vehicles while building an EV future. Balancing both worlds means neither gets full attention. Internal combustion engines require precision manufacturing and rigorous testing, while EVs demand software reliability and advanced battery safety. When corporate leadership shifts its resources unevenly, small errors in design or supplier quality control start slipping through. Those small errors then multiply when production scales to hundreds of thousands of vehicles. And unfortunately, this isn't limited to North America. In markets like Canada, the Middle East, and parts of Asia, GM owners are reporting similar quality concerns, from premature transmission wear to electronic malfunctions in newer SUVs. Several Canadian Chevy owners reported sudden loss of steering assistance in cold temperatures, an issue GM has yet to officially recall. In warmer regions like the Middle East, overheating complaints in new Tahoes and Silverados are increasing, with dealers reportedly advising customers to avoid long idle times. That's hardly acceptable for vehicles built to handle heavy use. All of this paints a troubling picture. GM isn't just dealing with one recall, it's facing a systemic reliability crisis. The recalls may be the visible tip of the iceberg, but underneath lies a deeper challenge: a manufacturing and quality control structure that's struggling to keep pace with the company's technological ambitions. And for you, the owner, that means uncertainty every time you turn the key or press the start button. We're hearing from more frustrated GM customers every day. People who love their trucks but are losing patience. They're tired of hearing parts are on back order or we're waiting for an update. They're tired of calling GM's hotline and being told to check back in a few weeks. And what makes it worse is the sense that GM is prioritizing image management over customer support. Their marketing continues to focus on futuristic EV concepts and new tech packages, while existing owners struggle to get simple safety repairs completed. But that's not all, because new investigations are still opening. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, has launched additional probes into GM vehicles over potential electronic stability control failures and faulty sensors affecting automatic emergency braking systems. These are advanced safety systems designed to prevent crashes, and if they malfunction, the consequences can be deadly. And here's where the story really turns serious. And now, as we wrap this up, let's be brutally honest. This isn't just another car recall story. This is a wake-up call, a red flag waving right in front of millions of Chevy and GM owners who've trusted these brands for generations. The truth is, when you buy a truck or SUV worth tens of thousands of dollars, you expect reliability, safety, and confidence. But right now, that trust is being tested harder than ever before. The message is clear. You can't just assume your vehicle is safe until you check for yourself. Don't wait for GM or your dealer to call you. Don't wait for a warning light that might never show up. Take action today. Go online, enter your VIN, and verify if your vehicle is affected. Because one small step right now could save you from a massive headache or something far worse later. And if your car is affected, demand accountability. Contact your dealership, contact GM, contact consumer safety authorities if you need to. Companies only change when customers push back. When people speak up, refuse silence, and demand better, corporations start to listen. That's how the ignition switch crisis ended. Not through PR statements, but through people who refuse to accept being ignored. Remember, a car isn't just transportation. It's part of your life. It's how you get to work, how you protect your family, how you travel and live. You deserve to feel safe every time you start that engine. And if GM truly wants to rebuild trust, it needs to start by fixing what's broken, not just in the vehicles, but in how they communicate with their customers. So to every Chevy and GM owner watching right now, stay informed, stay alert, and don't settle for "we'll get back to you." Your safety matters more than their reputation, because at the end of the day, it's not about badges or brand loyalty. It's about accountability, transparency, and trust. GM built an empire on the backs of hardworking drivers, and now those same drivers deserve honesty. This is your car, your money, your life. Don't let anyone treat it like just another statistic. If this video opened your eyes, share it. Not for clicks, but to help others who might still be driving unaware. Someone out there might hear this just in time. The bad news is out. The question is, what will you do with it? Stay safe, stay smart, and keep your eyes open, because this story is far from over.